Nana, Yodeling Grandma, people on YouTube want to know some things from you. So is it alright if I ask you some questions that they wanted to know?
Sure.
Okay, the first one I found was, how did you get COPD?
I grew up in a house where most of the members of the family smoked, and my husband smoked, and I was around smoke a lot. And then I worked doing a lot of cleaning, so I breathed in a lot of chemicals too from cleaning fluids. But I worked hard all my life, and I've always been real active. I like to go for long walks, and I'm still real active. It's hard for me to be here because I want to get up and do everything myself, and if they see me, then I'm in trouble. And so I'm always trying to clean something or straighten the bed or do something.
And they want to know what the prognosis is.
The what?
Prognosis.
Oh, my COPD. I'm on a ventilator treatment. It's a little portable machine I carry it around with me, and I put some fluid, medical fluid, in it, and it goes through a tube, and it has a little motor that pushes vapor into my lungs and helps my lungs to dilate so I can breathe better. But I only have to use that for about 5 minutes 3 times a day, and I've been feeling so much better the last couple of weeks that I haven't been using my oxygen. And my doctor came in and seen me and told me that my vital signs were all good, and that I was doing wonderful. And well, Nichole, to be honest with you, in my mind, I know I act and I feel like I'm about 30 years old, because that's the way I feel. I don't even feel like a grandma. The only time I know that I'm getting older is when I look in the mirror. But other than that, I just have fun, joke, and laugh all the time, and I love everybody, and up here everybody loves me, and I'm always throwing little jokes at them and making them laugh, and I enjoy doing that.
They want to know what your favorite kind of pie is.
Oh, I think rhubarb, and then I like lemon.
They want to know, do you smoke cigarettes, or have you ever smoked cigarettes?
No, and that's the sad part about it, that I have this problem from secondhand smoke, but no, but I don't judge anybody or hold it against anybody else that smokes, because it's their life and it's their business, and if they want to smoke, it's okay with me, but I can't be around that.
They want to know what you think of me.
What?
They said, what do you think about Nichole? So they want to know what you think about me.
Oh, what do I think about my little Nichole? I think she's a little sweetheart, and I just love her right from day one. And she used to, when she was a baby, I used to take her for walks, and she didn't walk very far till she'd say, "Nana, will you hold me? I'm tired." So I put her in my arms, and I'd keep walking with her in my arms, and pretty soon her little head would go down on my shoulder and she'd go to sleep. And I remember one time her mother and father brought her over to the house to see me, And my son, oldest son, came in from work, and he wanted me to go for my long walk that I'd go every night with him. And so I told my daughter I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Well, Nichole was just a baby then, and she started crying, and she wouldn't quit crying. And about 10 minutes later I came back, and my daughter Sherry says, I don't know what's wrong with Nichole. She's been just crying hard ever since you left, and she hasn't stopped. I don't know what's wrong with her. And I reached my hands out and took her, and she stopped crying, and in about 5 minutes she was asleep in my arms. We've always been close to each other. And Nichole, too, I admire her because she doesn't let people intimidate her. A lot of people try, and they done the same thing with me, but she has something I wish I had, and she doesn't let people intimidate her. I've been hurt a lot from just little things, sensitive things, but it isn't that anybody wanted to hurt me. It's just that it just happened. But Nichole, it doesn't bother her. She doesn't let people intimidate her. She just enjoys life. She has fun, and she loves everybody, and what can you say?
People are saying that they are praying for you to get better. They said that they'll pray for you to get better.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you very much. You know, something happened to me when I got sick and went to the hospital. For the first time in my life, I really realized how important life was to you, and so every minute counts to me. I don't want to waste 1 second of my life. I want it to be important. I want to do something with it. And right now, what I want more than anything is to help people and make them feel good about themselves and be happy. I always wanted to sing and play guitar, but I never really got the chance to have a guitar, or when I had a chance to sing, I was shy and turned it down. But I still sing, and I still like to yodel, and I still I don't know.
They want you to tell them something about your past.
About my past? I've had my heart broken. I was in love with a boy that was in the Air Force. And we went together, and he asked me to take his engagement ring. But at the time, about 16 years old, and I just was too young. I didn't know what I was doing, and I found out later that I really loved him, but I went with another boy, and it really hurt him, and so things weren't the same after that. But when I realized that I really did love him, and he meant so much to me, it was just too late, and I never stopped loving him.
They said to tell you that you're beautiful. They said to tell you that you're beautiful.
Oh. Well, I'm different. And you know what I'm doing too while I'm up here now, when I got spare time? I'm writing poetry all the time. Like I wrote this poem about a penny, and I'll just tell you one verse. It just says, I found a penny on the ground. It was a tarnished old penny that I found. If it could talk, what would it say? Where's it been before I found it today? And then I went on and showed how this penny passed hands to different people. And then in the end, the penny tells you to let it go because it had other people that it wanted to make smile and be happy. That's the way I ended my poem. But I wrote a lot of poetry, and I'm trying to write a story now. And but I still like to sing, and I shut my door so nobody can hear me, or I go for a walk where nobody can hear me, and I sing to myself in yodel, trying to keep my voice. I don't want to lose my voice.
They said to tell you that you're a sweetheart.
Oh, well, I wish I could see you who's saying this. I wish I could see you in person and give you a hug. I wish I could. And thanks so much for being so kind and nice. I really appreciate that. But the main thing in life is to love and be loved and do everything you can to help people to be happy and to make the best of their life.
People are saying that you remind them of their grandma and that they wish you were their grandma.
Oh, well, honeys, how many you are? I'm your grandma, okay? I'll be your grandma, Grandma Ruth.
And so, yeah, that's all I got so far, so.
And I like to tease people, and like I say, well, I wanted to, when I was young, I wanted to be a baker, but I just couldn't raise the dough. Or I'd say, well, I wanted to be a butcher, but I just couldn't cut it. And oh, just funny little things I always like to cut up, like what do you call a person that's in a coma, an outpatient? and I don't know. Like I said, I only feel like I'm about 30 years old, and maybe most of the time I don't even act that old. But it's mind over matter. You're only as old as you feel. And I don't feel old, and I refuse to let a number of an age control me. I am going to control my body and my mind, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to help as many people as I can, and I do believe in God.
So, I was thinking, and I remember you were around when the war was going on. Do you want to tell them about how that was living when the war was going on?
Oh, I remember one time my girlfriend and I were going from the little country town we lived in to go roller skating, and we had to walk over a viaduct that there was a lot of troop trains down below, and this one troop train had a lot of sailors in it, and they had on white uniforms, and they started whistling, and that's what they used to do when I was young. If they liked a girl, they'd whistle at them. And so they were all whistling and yelling, and we stopped, and my girlfriend and I, and looked down at them and waved at them, and this one sailor stepped out outside the train there on the step, and he played Sweet and Lovely with his trumpet, and I started crying. And my girlfriend said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "Because they're going to go overseas. They're going to get killed." She says, I said, "I don't want them to go." And I remember that. And then I remember we didn't have a television. We just had radio. And my dad would turn the radio on. And he'd tell you, will you kids please be quiet so I can hear the news, not see it, hear it. And then I remember Churchill and Hitler and Mussolini and all that, and when Pearl Harbor was bombed. And I remember when the war was finally over, and I went uptown, and everybody's throwing confetti out of windows from buildings that were high in the air, and it looked like it was snowing out, and then everybody was going up and grabbing anyone, a stranger, and just hugging them and jumping up and down for joy. And it was just I remember the songs they played, and they were love songs, and they were sad, like When the Lights Go On Again All Over the World, or When Johnny Comes Marching Home Again, or My Filipino Baby. We Walked the Lane Together. We did all these things together. They were all love songs. Remember Me, Don't Forget Me, and just because it was hard on young people that were in love, and they're the one they were in love with, whether they were married or just engaged or just waiting for him. It broke their hearts. And it was sad. And I felt that way too.
One other thing I thought of was, I remember you were born in the year of the Great Depression. What was it like living in that time?
I don't know. The only thing I remember when I was just a tiny baby was, I remember, I don't know where I was at, but I remember looking up at the ceiling and just seeing nothing but ceiling. And I must have woke up from a nap. And then the next thing I remembered after that, growing up, was I had a little pink and white silk bathing suit on that my cousin gave me. And I was down on the beach in California, in Los Angeles. And I remember being taken into the shower to wash the sand off from me, and it scared me to death, that shower. And then I remembered when I started going to school in the first grade. I remember my father taking lard and putting it on our shoes, and it kept the wet out. And then when the snow came, we wore rubber galoshes. We put them on over our shoes, and they buckled on the side, and they're funny looking ones. But I remember I had long hair, and my mother would twist my hair around her finger, and I had ringlets, long ringlets. And then I had one little braid on the side of my hair that she would braid and turn it up and put a big gold ribbon in my hair. And I remember at school, at recess or that, the boys chasing us around this school building. If they caught us, they would kiss us. And all the girls were running, trying to get away from the boys. And I finally got smart and ran in the girls' restroom. And then I remember one boy that sat behind me. He went and took one of my ringlets, my long ringlets, and went and dipped it in his inkwell, because they had these old-fashioned desks, and they had a little jar of ink that sat in a hole on the side of the desk. And he pulled on my ringlet and put it in the inkwell. I got it on my clothes, and my mother was mad. And then I remember I had a little gray kitten, and I just loved it. And my mother said, you can't have cats, can't stay in the house overnight. So when evening came, I would let my cat out the back door, and he would come around by my bedroom door, and there was a little square glass that was broken out of the window there, and I had a piece of cardboard there. Well, the cat would come around and meow, and I'd take a sheet and put it down through that hole, and the cat would cling onto the sheet, and I'd draw it up and put it in bed with me, and it would sleep with me all night. And then in the morning, I'd push it through that little hole again outside, and it would go around the back door and meow. My mother would say, "Well, I guess you can come in for a few minutes." She didn't know I had my cat in bed with me all night. I don't know. And I remember when my dad gave me a spanking that I'll never forget. My brother and his wife came over, and they didn't have cars, so when they got ready to go home, my dad would take them. Well, I told my mother that I was going to go to bed, and so she says, "Well, if you get ready for bed, you're going to stay in bed." And I says, "Okay, I will." So I went to bed, and then I heard them say they were going to take my brother and his wife home. So I got up and I got my coat on, and my mother told me to go get back in bed. You remember what I told you? If you went to bed, you were going to stay there. And I thought to myself, well, I'll show them. I'll show them. I'll just cry, and I'll just keep crying and drive them crazy. They'll give in, and they'll let me go. So I just started crying, and I kept crying. And my dad came in with a switch in my bedroom, and he hit me once with it across my backside. And he says, "Now you do what your mother told you. Now you go to bed and you stay there and you behave yourself." And I thought to myself, well, I'll make him feel sorry for me for that. So I said, "I wish he'd kill me. I just wish he would have killed me." So then he hit me again with the switch, and it really didn't hurt. But he said, "Do you still want me to kill you?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Don't you ever say that again or I will." But that's the only time that I ever remember getting hit. But I remembered it, and what it did, it showed me that my parents were a little bit smarter than I was. And though I was trying to use psychology on them, it didn't work.
Well, I'll end up there because we've gone on for a while, but they love you and I love you.
I wish I sounded better. I don't like my voice anymore, but I guess I have to accept it the way it is.
We all love you.
Oh.
I love you. Everybody loves you. Bye.
I love you too. I wish I could hug you.